Manchester United 1, Chelsea 1. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that game because we didn't deserve to win, but a draw doesn't really do anything for us.
No.
So I'm almost happy we didn't lose, but at the same time, another 1 point when we weren't going to get top 4 anyway. We didn't feel like really went for it. We got dominated by Chelsea at home, and yet somehow this result is all right. Like, it's just a confusing mishmash of ideas at the minute for United, isn't it?
It's a confusing time, isn't it, Joe? Because 2 wins in the last 11 games, and they've both been 3-2 wins.
Yeah.
Shows the defensive calamities we've had. And it was the same tonight. I'm absolutely shocked that Chelsea haven't come away with 3 points in that game because the amount of chances they had, the amount of shots, the amount of...
Yeah, it's mad.
Just luck and the fantastic time they had on our right-hand side especially.
So just for a couple of stats on that, Chelsea had 21 shots against United.
It's
on
incredible.
target. We had 6 shots total.
Well, I've been here and I've done it basically because last watch along I was on, it was the Leicester City game at Old Trafford. It was 1-1 and it was identical.
Yeah. It was the same game, wasn't it?
The first half was boring. I mean, Chelsea in this half was better, but for a United point of view, it was boring. And then what happens is you've got to wait for the opposition to do something first, to score, and then you get a pretty much instant reaction. And then nothing else happens. Chelsea would be disappointed that they didn't go away with a win. They had plenty of chances, like you said, about the shots they were. And we just seemed... I mean, David De Gea was quite good in some of the saves he made in the first half. But we just seemed to run out of options going forward. And I don't know. If we were still in the top 4 race, we'd be happy with that result. But considering with that top 4 is very out of reach, it's still just a 1-1. A 1 point, we got 1 point against Chelsea.
Yeah. Interestingly, like Reece James just had so much of the ball, didn't he? It felt like every time I looked up, Reece James was crossing the ball in from the right-hand side. That's how their goal came. I'm not sure if it was Reece James, but it was that cross from the right-hand side. The ball nodded up in the air. And Dalot just nowhere near his man in Alonso, and he just, puts the ball in the back of the net. But it was just so sloppy from United. Some of that first half defending was like, it just... Everything about United's situation showed itself on the pitch. It looked like a team that isn't being coached because the players don't give a fuck what the manager's got to say because they know he's leaving. It looked like a team that can't get top 4, that isn't in the FA Cup anymore, isn't in the Champions League anymore, that knows half the squad is leaving, half of them don't want to play, half of them are having their worst season that they've ever had as footballers. It all showed itself in that first half. And the fact that we went in at 0-0, the fact that this game ended 1-1 is absolutely ludicrous and almost flatters the Manchester United players today because the only person that even looked like he gave a shit, let alone put in half a decent performance, was Cristiano Ronaldo, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's mad. It's the structure of the team at the minute. It's very bizarre. What I want to comment on is the at the end of the game. Do you know when the final whistle blows and everyone sort of just reflects on what's happening and maybe go speak to each other in the opposition? Ralph Rangnick looks so lost amongst those players.
Yeah,
like there was a little bit where if you're watching our stream, he goes up to say hello to Ronaldo. And Ronaldo just doesn't even glance at him, like doesn't give him a hug or anything like that, just gives him a little handshake and then that's on. Like managers often just go on the pitch and grab the players by the scruff of the neck and maybe give them a little bit about what they were that game and like how good they were or maybe what they could improve on or maybe just there's a bit more about them. The Tuchels and the Klopps and the Peps, they have a bit more about the players at the end of the game and the final whistle goes and that's it. We've done another game of football. Like there seems to be no desire, no goal for the end of the season. No. We've got through another 90 minutes and we didn't get humiliated.
Yeah, we're just plodding toward the end of the season.
Handshakes like that. Well done. It's just boring.
Yeah, it is just boring in it at the minute for United. Like, do you think there's anything more in this squad's mind than just let's get to the end of the season?
Well, I reckon at least half or 3/4 of the players' mentality is elsewhere. It's not with United. It's probably thinking about just getting a season over and done with or moving on to a different club because, like I said pre-match, there's going to be so many outgoings come the end of the season and they're probably already thinking about that time already. Do you know what I mean? So I think what was the biggest problem today, just it identified and showed our lack of defensive prowess. Even now, against the Chelsea team that had 21 shots, we need to change full-backs next year. And I'm talking both sides because the fact they were both tucked in for the majority of the time and no one's going out to chase them. They looked unsure. Them being tucked in so far made the centre-halves look unsure what to do. And Ralph Rangnick, as Joel mentioned then, he looks lost when it's full time. He doesn't look like a manager who's got
Doesn't
a
do
sort of
much-
chemistry with
yeah,
his players.
doesn't do it hard then.
There's none of that. So how's he going to then motivate a team to give it their all for the last 3 games of the season? Because at this point, United are 3 points ahead of West Ham, but they've got like 6 better goal difference with a game in hand.
Yeah.
And if they win that game, they go above us in 6th, and we'll end up playing Conference League football next year if that's the case.
Well, United have got Brentford on Monday, and that's our last home game of the season. Which traditionally United have had started a few youngsters. We tend to sort of play a couple of the academy lads in that. I'd be over the moon.
Do you know why we used to do that? Is because we used to have already won the Premier League by then.
Yeah, that's true.
The times this tradition has formed because the games in the last game of the season used to be us already having things wrapped up in a nice little bow with a nice little Premier League title to pick up and walk around the ground and play the youngsters. And now we just don't want to get into the Europa League, or we just want to get Conference League. It's just funny, isn't it? The traditions have fallen. But I'd still play the youngsters, give them the chance in front of an Old Trafford crowd. There's players on that pitch that didn't look like they wanted to be there tonight.
Yeah. Looking at that, you talk about the Europa League. United currently in the last Europa League spot in 6th. West Ham, who have got a game in hand on us, have got a 6 better goal difference than us. So if they win their game in hand, they go above us. Wolves have got 2 games in hand on us and better goal difference than us. So if they win those 2 games in hand,
many points?
They go above us. They're 6 points behind us with 2 games in hand, a better goal difference. West Ham, 3 points behind, game in hand, better goal difference.
That's mad.
So if they both win their games in hand, they go above us, which is just utterly unbelievable. Isn't it? We genuinely, without even trying to be like scaremongering, we generally might finish 8th this season. Which is that United's worst ever finish in the Premier League era? I think it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what did Moyes get?
7?
7?
Yeah, Moyes got 7.
Well, what did Mourinho get when he won the Europa League? No, was it 5th, 6th?
No, I think he was lower than that.
Was it?
I think he was 7th as well. I think 7th is the joint twice. It might be 6th with Mourinho, but Moyes was defo 7th. I'm sure it was.
Yeah. It's just one of those, isn't it? We just get to the end of the season now. Let's play 3 more games in 90-minute football.
Yeah.
That's it.
It shows the downward spiral, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
the lowest we've ever finished is 7th. That was under Moyes. Giggs technically. And then the Jose, we finished 6th.
Yeah.
But this is quite possible.
But it's a question that we raised before. Would we rather be 8th and no European football with a new manager, or would you rather be 6th with Europa League, or let's say for the argument now, Conference League football with Ten Hag? What after that? What would you rather have?
I would rather finish in the Europa League than nothing. Definitely, I think the Europa League, whilst it's not a top trophy, it's something probably I'd rather win that than the League Cup, for instance.
Yeah.
But I would rather finish nothing than the Conference League. The Conference League is basically a lad's holiday. It's just shit. So I don't want to be in the Europa Conference League. Europa League I can live with. I'd rather finish 8th than 7th.
The stick we'd get for that as well.
Yeah.
I'd rather just finish it. It's just not fun.
No. Martin Lewis says, does it financially matter between 5th or 7th? Yeah, it does. I think, was that 10 million quid per place or something like that? Was the number that always gets thrown around.
Is it?
Something like that. Maybe not 10 million, a few million per place, I think. So, yeah, obviously it would cost United some money to do it that way, but there's just so little to play for this season, and it shows, doesn't it? That's basically all there is to say.
It's like I mentioned before, the players' mentality is not with Manchester United.
No.
We had players who were supposed to be our most influential, Pogba a few weeks ago, and then Bruno a couple of weeks ago, both saying it in different words that season's dead, got nothing to fight for. But they would never have predicted that Arsenal and Spurs would have dropped points in the same weekend. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't have predicted Arsenal to go on I think it was a 3-game dropping points streak.
They lost 4 out of 5 at one point, Arsenal.
And our players are saying that the season's dead then when there's 6, 7, 8 games to go. That just shows there's no cohesion, there's no team spirit, there's no chemistry between the players now. No. Never mind Ralph Rangnick. That mentality there just proves their heads are elsewhere. They're not bothered about Manchester United. They're just bothered about picking their pay cut.
One thing I do want to talk about before we go, Cristiano Ronaldo, 23 goals in 37 games for United now this season, 17 in the league. One more in the league and he equals his second best season for United. He's not going to touch the 2008 season, but I think he got 18 goals in the 2009 season. So the year after he'd won the Ballon d'Or, he got one more goal than he's got currently for United. There's a chance he equals or breaks that. That is amazing for a 37-year-old.
He's going to want to give 100% tonight. He was all over the place at certain points, getting stuck into tackles, throwing himself about. The goal itself is amazing. What a touch. And the finish is great. Great pass by Matic. And yeah, I think Ronaldo is just a superb player. It's great to watch him. And I hope that he makes the most of the last 3 games as well. I'm upset for him in a way because obviously he had a lot of determination and confidence coming into it. And I remember so highly, like, I was at Leeds Festival when the news got announced. Ronaldo's coming back. So happy.
So was I.
It was such a happy
mad,
moment,
wasn't
and
it?
we can hold on to it a bit, but sorry, I'm not tearing up.
You're getting a bit emotional.
It's a hot sauce before.
It'd be great if he gets that little second spot, and in terms of the goals for United, and he's still got it, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's definitely still got it. Truly genius with the super chat says Elanga was bad today, at fault for our goal partly too. Just, I mean, whilst he was poor, there were so many players that were poor today. Just Bruno looked like he was just doing what he wanted. At this point, he was just booting the ball up in the air as hard as he could instead of trying to make passes. The players have checked out, haven't they? And it's a shame, really. And luckily, we've got something to look forward to next season. New manager. There's going to be a whole raft of changes in terms of the squad. There is some light, hopefully, at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But at the minute, it's just dire, isn't it? And a 1-1 that absolutely flatters Manchester United tonight.
Of course.
Abhinav Verma with the super chat. We're still a big club. Proof of that is that Lukaku was ineffective against us. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, if we were shit, he'd have scored. So that's the only positive for this game. Ronaldo is a genius. Also, if you haven't already, please do hit subscribe. The result isn't great. United aren't great. But if you like the channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification as well to get first dibs on all of our videos. Jordan, thank you for coming down tonight, mate. 1-1 draw against Chelsea, not bad theoretically, but it's not felt great, has it?
No. It's better than no points, isn't it?
That's a good point. Where can people find you, Jordan?
JD Simpson 98 on Twitter.
JD Simpson 98 on Twitter, and Joe McGrath. Big day for you. Thank you
day
very much
for
for
me.
coming down. Where can people find you?
Right,
mate?
listen, I'm on an amazing podcast with this man right here. It's called the Sloppy Joes Podcast. If you wouldn't mind giving it a little sub and watch the episode, it'll cheer you right up after what that was a shocking little performance there.
Yeah.
But cheer yourself up, watch the Sloppy Joes Podcast and leave us a sub, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you again for joining us. 1-1.
1-1. Weird, isn't it?
Very
1-1.
weird. We'll see you in a bit.